Okay, friends, so I know that yesterday's little video about how to be able to connect with your guardian angel's name might have been a little bit frustrating for you because what I always hear is that's too simple, it's too simple, it's too simple. So I want to share with you a little story that might give you an idea of, yes, it is simple, but it does work. And then I want you to try it again. So some of you had some great response, and some of you are feeling more frustrated. So I'm going to ask you to try it again. But let me tell you my story first, okay? So I was teaching a class. This is probably about 12 years ago. I was teaching a class called Angels 101, and it was in my living room at the time before I had a healing center. And I was talking to everyone about their guardian angel, and I was telling them actually my story because I was introduced to my guardian angel at the age of 13. I had an experience where I saw her, and have always known her presence, although many times I ignored her throughout lots of my life. Always knew that she was with me from that point on. And I never even considered what her name might be. I don't know why, just was never a thought in my head, ever. And so one day I was teaching this class about angels, and one of the students asked me, well, what's your guardian angel's name? And, well, actually, she didn't ask me that. She said, how do I know my guardian angel's name? And I said, well, you just ask. And she said, it can't be that easy. And I said, well, yeah, of course it's that easy. That's how we find out anything, right? Ask and it is given. When we ask, then the answer comes. And she said, well, what's your guardian angel's name? And I said, I don't know. I never asked. And I had never asked because it never, I don't think it ever really mattered to me. But regardless, I'd never asked. And so she said, well, then why don't you ask? And kind of as a challenge, right there in front of my group, there's probably 10, 15 people in the class, and so I said, okay. So I asked everybody to be quiet. I got quiet. Closed my eyes. Took 2 or 3 minutes to kind of get centered and grounded. And then literally, I asked, what name shall I call you? Is there a name that I can call you? And I heard in my ear, as clear as a bell, Sarah. Sarah. Okay. So I opened my eyes and I said, my guardian angel's name is Sarah. And the girl in the class, many of the people in the class were like, oh my gosh, come on, it is not that easy. And I said, it is that easy. I just did it. And that's the name that I heard, and it's that easy. And they said, there's no way it's that easy. And I said, it is. It's that easy. So your homework, everybody in class's homework is to go home, ask, listen, and then see what comes to you. And you will get validation of this. And I told them that. You'll get validation. You'll get signs. Things will happen so that you'll know that that was the right name. So everybody left. That was their homework. I was completely happy. I knew that was her name. I like really odd and untraditional names. But if I were ever going to choose a name that I think is just a beautiful name, it would be Sarah. So it fit for me perfectly. I had no question at all. However, the next morning I woke up and got up, take my kids to school. I got in the car, and the song on the radio was Sarah Smile by Hall & Oates. So I smiled, and I said, okay, you guys, that's a pretty good one. That's good. Thank you very much. I appreciate that validation. I didn't need it, but I appreciate it because this will be a good story to tell my students. So I pull out of my driveway, and I go to the end of my street, which is one house. And there's a truck in front of me. And the truck's license plate, I've never seen this truck before, this white truck, the truck's license plate says, "Oh, Sarah." And I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, you guys, I get it. And so I'm like, thank you very much. Appreciate the affirmation, the validation. And then later on that afternoon, I think we'd gone to Costco. And the lady who helped us in line, what was her name? Her name was Sarah. And so I didn't need the validation. I already believed it. But that happened in a matter of, 6 hours, 8 hours, something like that. And so the next week we came back to class. And I asked people how they did. Some did great and got their name and they got the validation. They felt great. There were some that were a little bit frustrated, including the gal who asked me. Because when you believe it's going to be difficult, it's going to be difficult. When you know that it is nature's way, when we ask it is given, then the answer will come. And it comes. And so I went on that next week to share my story that helped everybody get the validation that, okay, it can be that simple. And if it isn't that simple for you, it's likely that some of your beliefs and thoughts are in the way. So again, I gave you some homework last night off the video and said, hey, try this. But now with that story and that understanding and sharing how, yes, it can be that simple, I want you to try it again. So get quiet, go within, and ask, is there a name that I shall call you? Is there a name that I can call you by? Whatever language works for you. What's your name, Angel? It can be anything. It doesn't have to be any proper form. They don't care. They know your heart. And then listen, and then you'll receive the validation. But when you listen, you've got to trust that that is the name that your angel is giving you. So, give it a shot, and then comment below. Let me know how it went, okay? Thank you.